day out there on YouTube. We are the middle-aged guys, and we're going to be bullshitting about whether or not you actually have the right to repair something that you own. I am the Reverend.
And I'm Grey Mouse One.
Earlier this week, there is a set of bills moving through state legislature, starting with Nebraska, that regards or that concerns your right to repair products that you actually own and purchase from major manufacturers like Samsung, Apple, Microsoft, and Sony, and things like that. Basically, the gist of the matter is that starting in Nebraska, they put together this right to repair bill, and they're not the only state that is looking at this. There are similar bills that are actually going through multiple states like New York, Minnesota, Wyoming, Tennessee, Kansas, Massachusetts, and Illinois at this moment in time. And basically, they're not just this is not a brand new type of bill. Basically, the gist of the bill is that if anybody who goes out of their way to buy a product, some sort of technological product like a smartphone, or with a lot of the smart devices that happen to be in your home, like modern refrigerators or ovens or things like that, or even to your car, that if you take it to a third-party repair center, that if you have it repaired and serviced there, the manufacturer can't then turn around and say, hey, look, you didn't take it to a certified, Samsung or Microsoft or Sony repair center, that your manufacturer's warranty is now null and void, okay? Mm-hmm. In fact, most manufacturers are so against this that they don't openly provide these third-party repair centers with the type of information or tools to actually service your products properly. Which is a big thing. The one thing that makes this really interesting for gamers is that Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft are all lobbying against these bills. Apple was the first one recently to go ahead and speak out against this, but Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony have all jumped on the bandwagon, all right? And in their eyes, or in their words, okay, we're concerned that the bill would jeopardize consumer safety and security, is unnecessary and compromises intellectual property, customer safety, security, and privacy are fundamental goals in the design of our membership's hardware, software, and devices. Our free market economy already provides a wide range of consumer choice for repair with varying levels of quality, price, and convenience without the mandates in this legislation. Now, the one thing that we have to say is that the sticking points to this legislation is that as part of the law, any of these first-party manufacturers, whether or not it be Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo, they have to provide to other technicians, or they have to make readily available technicians who aren't readily attached to them, aren't certified technicians, or part of one of their Nintendo-approved or Sony-approved or Microsoft-approved repair places. They have to be able to supply to them information and tools to actually properly repair products that fall within their family of products. Now, this right here is actually not a new thing. A similar type of thing was actually brought up a few years ago from automobile manufacturers who said that it was because of the high-tech nature of modern cars that it should be impossible and it shouldn't be legal, all right? And they even cited it under the DMCA, the Digital Millennial Copyright Act, that working on your car, a modern car, would go ahead and violate DMCA because everything is computerized and everything else. When the truth of the matter is that when it comes to these particular type of laws, and where our big concerns are at, is that this is stuff that we purchased. We bought it. We own it, all right? So you're telling me I can't change my oil because it's going to affect the software of the fucking car? All right. When the truth of the matter is that for decades, I've been able to go ahead and do that. I can't change my fucking tires. Okay. Or I can't change, I can't replace the brake pads or something like that. Going along that same vein, we're talking about with consoles the way that they are, especially if you're somebody like us who has a lot of classic consoles, like right back there, I've got multiple generations of consoles. The truth of the matter is that, if something happens with my NES and the pin header goes out, guess what? I can readily get a hold of a pin header and I could replace it myself. That's not that big of a deal. But if I actually try to call Nintendo up and ask them to send me to a service center to go ahead and do one of those things, that console is so fucking old, they can't even offer me a refurbished console. Okay? And if they were going to offer me a refurbished console, they would probably charge me $150 for it. Okay? And these are the type of concerns that go along with why are these guys fighting this particular bill. There's got to be something involved, you know, that they have a vested interest in. And that's kind of what we're going to go ahead and broach in this particular one. Gray Mouse, I know you've read the articles and stuff like that. You've looked over the things. What are your thoughts on this particular one?
Okay. I find this topic very interesting simply because this is one of those topics that overlap each other. It overlaps the gaming world. It overlaps, you know, the car world. It overlaps the appliance world. It overlaps, you know, it overlaps everything, everybody's involved in this. And like, I want to also bring, you know, like you said about the modern cars. If you opened up a modern car, you know, I think from 2010 and later, when you open up the hood, it's nothing but electronics now. And for them, you know, for the dealerships and whatnot, to make it to a point to where you have no choice, you can't even take it to third party because they don't know how to repair the stuff. You have to take it to the dealership or the parent company in order to fix it, and they do that on purpose. And also in modern cars, I'll get to the point that, like, if you want to take off something, you have they put a screw all the way in the back that you have to have a specialized tool to get it open to do your repairs on it. So you have no choice where you get frustrated and you have to take it into the dealership. And that's the same thing that they're doing for gaming consoles. I think there are a couple of YouTube videos with, I forgot the name of the YouTube channel, but what he does is take the newest console, takes it apart, and, you know, shows you the inside and puts it back together. And it seems like as the consoles get more advanced, it's more and more difficult to do those things. But what I think the overlining problem is that the gaming companies, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, they don't want you fiddling with their stuff because they don't want you to mod it. That's the bottom line, I feel. And the fact that there needs to be a middle road here, just like the Reverend was saying. You know, the main companies have to provide, in my opinion, the tools and the know-how to fix it. Either that, or because the customer's going to have to ship it back to the manufacturer, which, I mean, I think it's a can of worms that don't need to be open, to be quite honest. It gets really nasty in there, you know, about the IP, you know, the intellectual property, whether or not they want you to mod their system, how they want to repair it. You want to send it in to the parent company to repair it. You know, I mean, and I think what the main three are trying to do is, you know, they want to keep that bottom line. They want to keep the money, you know what I mean? They want to charge as much as possible with the least amount of work as possible, you know, and that's what go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that. I completely agree to a point. My issue with it is that I went out of my way and I paid retail price and I paid sales tax.
Yes.
Which means I have a receipt, which means I own whatever I went ahead and I purchased. Okay. When it comes to a lot of property or a lot of products out there, there are two particular rights that you have to go ahead and that you're dealing with when it comes to the legal part of it. All right. There's the right of ownership and there's the right to copy things. Okay. All right. Okay. And the thing is that guess what? Copyright, that particular right there, doesn't doesn't supersede your right of ownership. Okay. if
So
I went out of my way and I own something, you know, it's up to me whether or not I can go ahead and if I want to use it as intended, or if I go ahead and use it for fucking skeet shooting, that's my fucking right. I went in and I purchased it, and I paid taxes on it.
yeah,
You know?
or do you truly own that device?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Here's the thing: when they sit there and they say that, you know, we don't want people to go out of their way, and we want to make it harder for people to go out of their way and mod it. The only thing that goes ahead and it really influences is warranty. Okay. If somebody goes out of their way and they mod it and they brick it and they send it back to somebody under warranty to go ahead and get repaired, guess what? They voided their warranty, and the manufacturers under the manufacturer's warranty has every right to say, fuck you, buy a new one. Okay. And guess what? That particular situation exists above and beyond these particular bills that are being introduced. Okay. Now, where this particular bill becomes, these particular sets of bills become interesting, okay, is that the first party manufacturers for a lot of these products are saying, bar none, it doesn't matter if you own it, you have no right to open it up or repair it yourself. Okay. And the truth of the matter is that let's just put it like this. Imagine if this was a window of your house or plumbing or something like that. Okay. Or I don't know, a light socket or a light switch or something like that. It's, if you apply this particular mindset to anything else that's out there, it becomes fucking ludicrous. All right. Just the mention of the fact that, oh, you don't have any right to go ahead and fix that. Fucking, what if I'm out in the middle of nowhere? All right. Or just like Nebraska or other places, or like Minnesota or other places like that. What if you're out in bumfuck nowhere where you're 80 miles out from the first service center? All right. Well, you're telling me that, okay, I just got to go ahead and live without? What if it's something that prevents me to actually get there to the fucking service center? You know, it's one of those things where, okay, I'm going to say this right now. If any manufacturer, okay, it doesn't matter if it's intellectual property, entertainment media, or physical product, all right, if any manufacturer out there goes out of their way and makes an argument that, oh, you can't do XYZ with whatever you own, something that you've purchased, their argument is completely anti-consumer. Okay, I fully fight for the rights for intellectual property, and I fully fight for manufacturers getting the money that's due to them, especially if it's a great product. But okay, once somebody actually makes that transaction, hands over money or tender, and they get a receipt, that sales receipt, it's a sales receipt showing that you, as a holder of that receipt, own that particular item, especially if it's the case that you've spent sales tax on it. Like I said, I don't care if it's a video game. I don't care if I play it. I don't care if I use it as a coaster. I don't care if I use it as fucking skeet shooting. Okay, that is what I own, and it's within my right to go ahead and do that. And I'm you know what, for these guys who are jumping on and lobbying against it, I'm glad that they're lobbying against it, and I'm glad they're jumping on it, because I am hoping that this goes through, and that the judges who look at this particular type of case or putting together these types of bills that are pushing them forward will actually consider things with common fucking sense, that this is product that you own. Okay, what if you sat there and you ordered up, I don't know, ingredients for a dish of food, all right, but the brand makers who went ahead and had that, I don't know, let's say Fritos sits there and says, you can't make chili cheese Fritos, homemade chili cheese Fritos with our Fritos. You have to buy the ones that are flavored as chili cheese Fritos. All right. Because that's the type of fucking logic that goes into this. Okay. If I were to sit there and I were to go ahead and, I don't know, purchase some flap steak, okay, from the store, but the farmer goes ahead and says, you can't make fucking carne asada out of that thing, I would sit there and tell them to fuck off, And if it was actually turned into a court case or a lawsuit, any fucking judge would sit there and tell them to fuck off. All right. If the farmer sits there and says, no, that's gotta be grilled, smoked, or ground up into fucking burgers or shit like that, they can't fucking say that, because guess what? When it comes to that particular product, you tendered a transaction, you have a receipt, you fucking own it. You can do whatever with it as you want. All right. Whether or not it's making carne asada, carnitas, fucking beef fajitas, or I don't know, dragging it out and making jerky. Okay. I'm really fucking hungry now. But yeah.
And in all honesty, it comes to a point to where, okay, so the parent company or whatever comes to a point, okay, so we can't stop our consumers from modding our stuff, but we can prevent you from accessing certain features of that product, as in online gaming, online whatever, because of modded, you know what I mean? But
and that part is completely within their rights. Okay, like all the Xbox 360s that would sit there and get banned every year, okay, by Microsoft. That was well within their rights to do so. Okay, especially if somebody was modding their system and they're pirating games and they're showing up with illegally copied games. That's completely within their rights to do so, because that's part of the service that they provide. Okay, but if they sit there and they say, oh no, you can't take it, you can't try to go ahead and replace, I don't know, the drivetrain on your Xbox by yourself, you've got to go ahead and take it to an authorized Xbox dealership or a repair center to go ahead and do that. But I sit there and you end up taking it to a repair center, they're like, oh well, we don't have refurbished machines for this, it's going to cost you $200 to go ahead and fucking repair it.
And that actually hits home to me, because I just recently bought a Xbox original, and the only problem with it was that the tray drawer didn't work because the rubber band in it was stretched too far. So I technically broke when I had it repaired, I technically broke their rules and regulations, because I didn't want to spend $500, $600 for a refurbished one from Microsoft, when I could just have a third party who knew what they were doing do it for me. I'm just saying. So yeah, this does hit home, here recently for me. But I mean, it's just really upsetting that they would use such a lackluster excuse with consumer safety. Majority of the people that are modding their machines or whatever know what the fuck they're doing.
They're tech savvy folks, but
exactly.
I understand that that is applicable only to a point. All right. But generally speaking, the folks who are tech savvy enough to go ahead and actually work on their things, they also understand that they are taking upon themselves a general level of risk that they are not going to be taking upon if they have somebody else do it. But the thing about this, though, is that the level that they are preventing this right to repair is that they are even preventing those folks who have the actual skill to do it. If they aren't under a contractor, they aren't certified with Nintendo, Microsoft, or Sony. In other words, they didn't go through the certification courses and pay Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo money directly to go ahead and get certified by them. They're saying, no, you can't even go to them.
Ooh, you know what? We just recently did a video about this. GameStop in the Circle of Life. That would destroy GameStop. That would destroy that whole refurbished consoles that they've been doing. They're not so it stretches even further, so you're not, those, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo aren't, giving these guys their blessing and everything to repair them, the consoles.
Well, and let's just be honest. Their blessing comes in the form of monetary payment to get certified. Okay, I'll just speak frankly. I avoid manufacturer warranties on my video game consoles if they aren't already past it on a regular basis. And the thing about that is that, you know, a lot of my older classic consoles are modded. Guess what? If I were to go ahead and take them to a repair center, there aren't very many certified repair centers for something like a Sega Saturn.
Nope.
Or an NES.
Dreamcast.
Yeah, or Dreamcast. All right. But I am not afraid of cracking them open and working on them myself. Okay. There are particular risks involved, and I understand those risks. But, you know, the thing about it is that with a lot of those particular consoles and stuff like that PS3 right there, it was physically damaged. We tried to go ahead and repair it. Didn't work out. You know, me and actually Darth Gringo, who was on one of our videos previously, we went ahead and we tried to repair it. Didn't work out the way that we initially planned. But then I was able to take it to a repair center, and then $80 later, you know, I have a secondary working PS4, or excuse me, PS3. Thankfully, it only costs that much. If I was going through a certified Sony repair place and they were asking for they were going to offer me a refurbished PS3 to go ahead and replace that, they probably would charge me $200. You know, and it's one of those things where it worked out better the way that I did it. And the reason why gamers should be concerned about this, all right, is that if the bill goes through and it sets precedent saying, hey, look, third parties can work on these these manufactured these high-tech systems and manufactured products, okay, which includes you as the owner of the system, all right, that'll set legal precedent for people to go ahead and be able to do what they should be able to do otherwise, okay? Otherwise, if it fails to go through, then Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo can sit there and make a huge push to move, hey, all of these modding game console modding services and stuff like that, they can sit there and make a case that all of them are legal now. Okay. Likewise, you know, all these mom and pop small third-party repair centers that do a really good job at fixing your devices, they can go ahead and put them out of business, or they can go ahead and make it very hard for them to continue doing business in that way, by saying, hey, look, you've got to be certified with us, and it's going to cost them tens of thousands of dollars to do so, because they're not going to sit there and hand over certification for just a couple $100. It's not going to fucking happen. You know?
Yeah. And it's a real shame that this is even being brought up. You know, it's like this whole thing is like anti-consumer, like you said, you know. I mean, it even goes down towards digital only content and stuff, you know, digitally games and stuff. I mean, it seems like it's a war against brick and mortar stores, brick and mortar operations, you know. I mean, if you look at the bigger picture of things, you know, they're trying to push, all three of them are trying to push digital only. They're all trying to push this bullshit that you can't open up, you know, their console, their controllers. You can't open them up, you know. I mean, I guess they feel that, you know, opening something up voids their warranty. People are like, I don't give a fuck about the warranty. That's not stopping people anymore. It used to, but it doesn't do it. That doesn't do it this, you know, this day and age. People are like, warranty my ass. I'm going to do what I want. I bought this, you know.
I think where that used to be a really big thing was that when a 1-year warranty was standard to the industry and everything, there was a really small time where manufacturers knew that the stuff that they were putting out on the market was by and large shit, and it only had like a 90-day warranty. All right.
Yeah.
The PS1 only had a 90-day warranty. Okay. And the thing is that one had a really high failure rate. The thing that we have to look at this is that it's very anti-consumer. Okay, the moment you sit there and you tell somebody, hey, look, even though you've purchased this, you don't have full rights to do whatever the hell you want with it, is just ludicrous. All right, and I'm, you know, like I said, we went ahead, we purchased it legally. I can understand when you sit there and you're like, you have modders and stuff like that who void warranties and like that. Guess what? If they void the warranty and they still have to send that in for repair or service or stuff like that, what's it going to take away from the manufacturer? Absolutely nothing, because they say, hey, look, you voided the warranty. All right, this is what it's going to cost you, and you're at the mercy of that fucking service. Okay,
exactly, and you paid retail price.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that people are getting transfixed with is the fact that, you know, this warranty, you know, like you said, it puts out crap, you know. They used to put out crap in 90-day, 180-day warranties and stuff, you know. But nowadays, you know, the warranties aren't working no more. It's to a point to where where the big companies want to pass these laws to stop people from fidgeting inside their consoles. And I feel like we're going around and around in circles here. But I think the big point is that they are trying to curb pirating is what I think their main concern is, the big companies. You know, that you're not, it's fine for those of us who actually go out and pay the full retail price for that item. And then you got those other people that, you know, that actually get whatever that physical media by other means. And I think that's one of their concerns, but they're not really stating it outright. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing, though, is that as far as right to repair type bills and offering up information and providing tools to be able to work on your console and everything else goes, that doesn't affect, you know, the fact that if somebody goes ahead and mods their console to play copied games, that doesn't all of a sudden void the fact that voids their warranty. And that's never been the case. All right. So the whole thing about combating piracy, I understand the standpoint and why they would state that, but it doesn't affect the fact that, oh, hey, I would like to have the option to work on this myself, or I would like to have the option to go ahead and take it to, you know, the mom and pop, you know, repair store that's close to me to see if they can go ahead and fix it. All right. Modding things to go ahead and allow it. If they sit there, they see, oh, hey, look, you have to return it back to Sony. They see, oh, you went ahead and you installed the custom firmware on it that doesn't make it run like it should. You voided the warranty. Guess what? It's still going to void the fucking warranty. All right. It doesn't matter if I take it to a mom and pop shop or send it to an authorized Sony place, you know. And that's the thing that gets me about this. Well, if you sit there and you take an Xbox, you know, the original Xbox, and you mod it up and you throw a bigger hard drive on it and you do soft mods and everything else, and then all of a sudden something happens like the tray doesn't work, you send it over to a mom and pop repair shop. It doesn't matter if you send it to them or to Microsoft themselves. It's the warranty is still voided. All right. Service has got to be done on it. You know, it's still going to cost you whatever.
Well, a lot of times those big companies won't even, like, if you could flip the console over and it has a piece of tape on it and it says, if you remove this tape, you void the warranty, right? So when you send those type of, you know, modded consoles to the actual retailers or whatever, they'll tell you, they won't even look at it. They'll look for that tape and see if it's been broken, and if it's broken, they'll send it right back and say, we're not going to work on this because you opened it up. But the mom and pop stores, you could take it to your gaming store down the street, and, you know, a tech savvy guy will sit there and open it up and, you know, do the repairs for you. But what I have a problem is that the big three are trying to prevent that mom and pop store from working on my console.
Yeah,
that's bullshit to me.
Yeah, and that's the great truth of this particular type of bill. It sounds like a lot of legalese. I understand if you follow us, you know, through this video all the way up into this point, it sounds like a lot of legalese, but it really isn't, folks. If you watch this video all the way up to the end, you got to understand that the first party manufacturers Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. So there is no fanboying involved in this. They're all equally guilty in doing this, is that they're lobbying against your right to do what you want to do with property that you own.
Yep.
Okay. Which is completely anti-consumer. Okay. It doesn't, the moment the situation is that you paid something fully, you've paid sales tax, you have receipt, and you've legally been granted ownership of it. Once somebody outside of the transaction sits there and says, oh, but you can't do this with that, all right, and it doesn't, you know, and it's not something that breaks laws, then yeah, the person who's going out of their way and doing that, they're doing something that is very anti-consumer, and that's what this is all about.
For my closing statements here is that what's going to happen is if this law gets passed, or doesn't get passed rather, what the consumer or what the companies are going to do is going to build stuff like this to the point to where there are no screws. There's no way to mod an Apple fucking, there's not. There's no way to open this shit up unless you break it. And that's what's going to happen. That's the manufacturers and the parent companies reasoning, or, you know, in order to prevent this. So it's going to come to a point to where, you know, you can't even open this up, and then the problems are solved. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen, man. To a point to where they're just going to, where you have to destroy your device in order to get into it and to mod it. I mean, that's why Apple does that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they make good products, but I'm also not a fan of other practices that they have, and that's actually one of them right there.
Well, and that's exactly that's anti-consumer. But the reason why I brought that up is because that falls into the fold of what we're discussing about. You know, that could be these other, you know, the big three's answer to, okay, fine. So y'all want to mod? I'm going to make a device to where you can't even get into it. And if you do, you're going to destroy it. It's not going to work either way. And it's coming. I mean, it's coming. Watch that. I mean, there's always something that's going to prevent. And that's a damn shame, man. I mean, because in order for you to get it, I mean, you have to get a brand new one. You know? Yeah,
pretty much. And
it's come to that.
Yeah. And manufacturers are always going to, between having to repair your old product or selling you a new one, they're always going to want to go ahead and sell you a new one. That is absolutely no mystery, and that's been the case since time eternal. Okay. Yep. But what we really want to know is, you know, what are your thoughts out there in YouTube? What do you think about the right to repair bills that are moving through legislation right now? What do you think about Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft's stance on it? Are they well within their rights, or are they just, you know, ranting off on things that's completely overbearing and overreaching their legal rights as far as their product? Okay. We would really like to hear your comments on that. Feel free to leave them below. While you're at it, go ahead and hit like, hit subscribe. We really appreciate it. Every comment that you leave leads to a brand new conversation. And with every good conversation, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. As long as you stop and take a moment to think about the things that we've presented to you, then we know for sure that we've accomplished a lot more than you can ever imagine.
Yep.
For the middle-aged guys, I am the Reverend.
And I'm Gray Mouse One.
Our bullshit about the upcoming or moving through legislation, right to repair bills in multiple states, and how Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft have all taken an anti-consumer stance against it, ends here. Thank you very much, YouTube, for watching all the way up to the end. We'll see you later.